Hello, and welcome back to our Twine Peaks Endurance AFK builds. We are almost there, just got a few more left to do. So we've done the bridge amplifier with one spawn. Now we are onto the hill amplifier. I'm just working my way through these in alphabetical order for me. So this is the amplifier all the way at the southwest here in Twine Peaks. It has two spawns, so one to the south, one to the west. Which is annoying. I always hate having to do two because, well, it just takes twice as long, and if you've got to think of double the amount of builds. But we're going to start with the west direction over here. So they're going to spawn in this massive area over here, this sort of courtyard. Now, when I did mine, I built damage, but if I just walk over here, we'll see there's a lava bomb. So we can't do too much in this area in the ways of damage. Like, we can't, zigzag them, we can't make trap tunnels with low walls to do dynamos and such, so we'll only be able to damage them from here, and that's really not going to be enough. And then, once they've got up this ridge, they're at the amplifier. So what we can do is, instead of letting them come through here or round the other side, we can bring them across over here where we have our lava, and if we push them down like we do in the bridge, then we can just keep letting them come back up and keep going around the tunnel. And it's a much more efficient way of doing things. It's a lot safer as well, which is the most important part. So yeah, we'll go ahead and build the main tunnel first. So what we're doing basically is bringing them across a bridge here that we are manufacturing, and then we'll give them a way up to the amplifier. We're going to knock them down onto here. So what we're going to do is build the bridge here, as I said, all the way across. Then once we get to this point, we can give them a way up to the amplifier. So if we just build a staircase, and then if we put a floor to go across, they can then get to the amplifier. Now, we want 3 walls here, which is what's going to be the wall launchers to launch them down into this hole. Alternatively, you can put ceilings across these as well, and have floor launchers, wall stun traps, fling them up across. I find it better to use wall launchers though, because then we can slow them on the floor. Whereas if we use floor launchers, they're going to be full speed. It's nice to combine them, so we can use a floor launcher here, which is what we will do with sort of an angled roof. But yeah, for that bit, we want to do that. Over here, you can put a wall launcher on this side though, which will knock them out all the way over there. And then up here, we want to avoid building anything around this area. It'd be tempting to put, wall lights or something to knock them off, but they probably just land here anyway, as opposed to down there. And we don't want smashers to want to charge that way. So we will leave them like that. Now, we need to block off this main path. If I get the lava bomb to spawn again, I can then safely build this across. So we want to build it up to here, but don't block this bit because the husks will need to walk across there. But we probably won't need any traps there. But they will need to walk in this spot to get to the tunnel we have just built. So, once we've built that, because this is such a small space, and this is the main path they're really going to want to take, because it's so much quicker to get the amplifier than this one is, we need to really block this off. So what we're going to do is do floors as well. Make sure you block off in between as well, and then point the cones towards the center, because we don't want the husks to get through. Then we will just repeat this a few times. Again, make sure you put a wall in the middle. It gives it more reinforcement. And then a wall behind. And we probably want another one as well. But at this point, you probably don't need a floor. You can do it if you want. Yeah, let's go ahead and build one. So same design as before. Oh, I want to edit the floor. Should have placed the floors first. I mean, we can get in here and do it, and then place that back down. Just means when we come to upgrading it, it's going to be a bit different. But for this floor, if you edit the corner instead of both, it will add an extra protection from them getting out that way. And then finally, just add the grid walls as we have done for the other ones. So that there should be plenty enough to stop them from getting through. If you're really paranoid, or if you do see them starting to attack it, you can add floors over here and across with cones on top as extra reinforcement, but I really don't think we'd need that. We do want to block this ramp here from both sides and then a cone on top. Because if they got on top of here, they'd just be able to walk straight through. And then we will be blocking this for the other direction. So we can build it now. Might as well. You may be wondering why we're blocking all the way up to the amplifier here. We're going to do a similar sort of thing and bring them round here and then give them a way up again. We can knock them down, or at the very least we just get more room for damage. But yeah, we're going to build the same sort of thing here. So once we get past the amplifier, I'm just going to build the cones the other way. And then get your grid going. We shouldn't need floors on these ones because the path here to the side is pretty similar distance to this one. This one's quite out of the way, that's why we needed more blocking off there. But we can cover more block-offs here when it comes to that direction. We can just go ahead and block this bit off to stop any husks, especially lobbers and flingers, from wanting to go around and, you know, get to the objective. That should be enough blockage for there. Then what we're also going to do is just where they're coming up this ramp, if we do a wall with a ceiling, you can build the wall at the other side if you want, like that. It doesn't really matter too much. We don't need to put a trap on the wall, but if we put it here, at least we can use it for this side if we want to do anything. But the ceiling is just going to act as a tire trap to slow them down as they come up the hill. We're just going to place one because we don't want to kill them, really, because the whole idea of this is to keep, you know, recycling them round and not actually damage them. Here we can put a wall launcher to launch them down the hole as well. As I said, in this corner we can do a floor launcher with an edited ceiling. You can fling them anywhere really, but most effectively would be down here. But you do kind of risk flinging them up onto here if you do that, unless you block it with walls. So we'll probably throw them down to here, which will be... well, we can't place it right now, but we can place that when we come to the Flinger shield anyway. Which we could probably do next, as we've got pretty much everything placed down. So for the Flinger shield, we're going to start it here. This will actually be a nice place for it to, you know, connect to the floor so it can't be knocked down. And then what we're going to do is cover this to cover this gap down here, because if flingers and lobbers land down there, they could actually aim for the amplifier. We can then turn this here to cover the other direction. Bring that back down to flat. This will act as the lobber shield for this side. We bring this over here. And then if we turn it here as well, we can just get a little bit blocked here. Oops. And then at this point, we'll have stuff built when we do the south direction, but that can, you know, cover most of that. Now, over on this side, we do need to make this a little bit higher, because if we look from here, we can see all this area down here where the lobbers could walk to. They can aim at the amplifier. So if we extend this over and then up, bring it all the way to here, that should be enough to stop them. If you do notice them trying to fling from there, some people may get that. It does differ from person to person. That's just the lovely part of Save the World. Or if, you know, anywhere they tried to get to, they shouldn't be able to get to this area because they would have been knocked off the trap tunnel. But yeah, this just covers all the lava, all the bits down there. But as I say, if you do notice them being able to fling, as they can't in mine, but if they can in yours, just make sure that lobber shield goes higher. What you can do if you want to is make this lobber shield flat from here on instead of these roofs, because then what you can do... wow, I nearly fell down. What you can do is, if these are flat roofs here, you can add them anyway, I mean, if you want. But yeah, if they're flat roofs, you can put tire traps on to add more impact to knock them down. The wall launchers should be enough though, but it's just an alternate build. And if you ever did see, in the future updates, the impact not being enough because of any sort of bugs, you can add that in and that would sort those problems. What you can do here as well is just add an extra link. It will stop any, flingers and lobbers being able to fling from that area through the gap as well. And it just also acts as another connection. We can then make this curved. And what I think I'm going to do is make this fully that direction. Reason being is because we have this floor here, and then the floor launcher will then be able to send them out, and they can sit over there and then come back up. It's just another layer of the recycle. So beautiful stuff. That covers the main trap tunnels and block offs and such. Now we just need the bait and switch. So there's a few ways you can do this. You could probably build it from here. So if you wanted, you could build stairs up off this floor. The reason I wouldn't necessarily recommend that is because this is where it leads up. You might get mini bosses targeting this floor here. And if that floor goes, the enemies do not have a way to get up. What you can do though, if you want, is you can add another way up here. Like such. This will let enemies get up, or at least it will give them something they can see forwards that lets them get up, and it's just sort of a backup in case that ramp ever did go. You shouldn't really need it, but as I say, it's just a backup, so don't worry about having that. But yeah, we're going to avoid putting it from here, and what we'll probably do is build it from somewhere over here. So if we can get somewhere that's over a large drop, that would be ideal. So maybe this one. So if we go up here, then turn them, and then turn them again, what we can do is on these stairs here, we can put wall lights on there, knocking them down all the way to the bottom. And then once they're up here, we can bring them to the amplifier. And then if we build the other one at an opposing corner, for the other direction, because obviously we've got two directions, so we need two ways up, because the enemies from that direction to the south are not going to waddle all the way over here to this way up. Now you might want another way to knock them off, so ideally you'd have it there, and then when they're on this staircase, they'll get knocked down there. So that should be plenty for that. If we bring this over one more and take it to the center of the amplifier, we can then make the other direction the opposite of the center. So we can build it now, the top of it at least. And then when we do the south direction, we will build the bait and switch for that side. But we can finish this up by getting our... Whoops, edited that wrong. Getting our archways over this, like so. And then where we have the floors, we just want the thin walls, as we've done in all the other builds. This will act as something for the smashers and mini-bosses to aim for, and give them a reason to go up our bait and switch, which will then switch and knock them down. Perfect. Yeah, there you go. That should be everything you need to place. With flanks, there's a few more routes they could come round over here, but we'll cover that when we do the south. But yeah, that's everything you need to build. And let's get up to leveling this stuff up and putting traps down. Actually, before I do that, we can slow the husks a little bit more here. You add a few floors. You'd have to do too much. You can do more here if you want. You could do one there, so you have 3. Basically, we're just going to either do freeze or wooden floor spikes on these, just to stop the husks, slow them down, make their life and their journey longer from coming back up to then go through again. So yeah, just a little addition there. But yeah, I'll go ahead and level this stuff up, and then we can go to putting the traps down. Cheers. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you are enjoying the video, please do let me know in the comments. But also I am on the supporter creator program, so if you could please use my code CAMBG, and be sure to subscribe as well to get all future videos. Thank you so much. The anti-air trap 1 range on there for durability. Ceiling drop trap, so we're going for a crit build on this one as well. Ceiling electric field, we're going for a crit build once again, you know it. Floor freeze trap, so for this one we've got 2 impact and knockback. Floor launcher, so for whacking all the impact and knockback on there. Tar pit trap, so for this one I like to go for full durability. Wall darts, another crit build, another all-rounder build. The wall dynamo trap, so for this one I've gone for energy. Wall launcher, so for this one we've got 3 impact and knockback. Wall lights, so another 3 impact, 2 reload speed. Wall spikes here, we've gone for crit build, so 2 crit rating, 2 crit damage. Wooden floor spikes, so crit build on this one, that's pretty much true. Now that you've got that stuff leveled up, we can go ahead and place the traps. So I'm actually going to start here on these blockers. That hole probably wants to be plugged up. I don't think they can get through that gap, but it just looks nicer, doesn't it, when it's blocked up. So we're going to put wall spikes on all of these, with healing on, so if anything does try to break through, it will heal up the damage. By the time they get smashed by it, they will, you know, leave and come back, and, well, not come back. Over here, we're going to put fire drop trap. Now, you probably want to use a lower level one, to be honest, because it's mainly just for knocking them back, because we don't generally want to kill them, but that's up to you. Down here, you can either do wooden floor spikes or freeze traps. I'm going to use freeze traps, making sure I face the way the husks will be running out when I place them, because the impact of them will knock them back very slightly, which just gives us an extra few seconds for them before they make it back up to the tunnels. Over here, we're going to use a freeze again with a wall launcher here. On this one, as I said, we can use a floor launcher, which will then knock up, and they'll go flying over there, and then they can come back up. Down this bit, it's up to you what you want to do for traps. You can do freeze, you can do tar pit, you can do wooden floor spikes. All of them viable options. I think I'm going to do freeze on these 2, and then just a tar pit on the last 2 to fully stop the things that make it through the first 2, which is probably just smashes right at that point. Get wall launchers on all of these, and then, as I said, leave this stuff clear. Don't put a wall there or anything, because we don't want anything bad to happen there, basically. Up here, we can put a freeze on this. It's not too important which direction you put it on. I'm going to put it that way, just to knock them away from it, because I don't want them to knock back onto this and then break it, because if they break this, they can't get up. I mean, they have the optional, well, not optional, but the other way to get up, but I don't want to risk any of that. While we're here, we can place the wall lights on the bait and switch. So we have 2 of them. That should be plenty. I mean, 1 probably would do it, but I like to be prepared. Then, I think that's it, if I'm honest. That's the beauty of these sort of recycle builds, where we just knock them down and they come back up. You don't need a lot of traps. If you want, you can add another tire trap here. If you're going to use low-level ones, like 3-star instead of 5-star, go ahead and put another ceiling. That's completely up to you. Here, you can put a thin wall, like this, if you want to make the enemies have to walk a little bit further, be more likely to be knocked up by the floor launcher. That is up to you. On this one, you can also go for wooden floor spikes, to make it so that they just go into this corner slower, as opposed to just being frozen for this wall launcher. That's up to you. Both work fine. As I say, you don't need to go fancy with it. Just test what works best for you. But if you copy my build exactly, then you should be golden. And then, yeah, I think that covers everything. Obviously, as I said, if you do notice flingers and lobbers trying to get over the lobber shield, just extend it upwards. We've barely used any resources to make this, barely any traps as well, so it's quite an efficient build. That's the beauty again of the recycle builds. I only had to go refill my metal once to level it up to tier 3, which thank god, because it's so far to go to get metal. That's the worst part of doing these amplifiers that are furthest away. You have to trek all the way back to your amplifier or your home base to get refill your metal. But yeah, there you go, there's your build. Lovely stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely check out the other part Please do like, comment, subscribe, engage in whatever way you feel comfortable, because I really, need the assistance from you guys to make it out to more people and help more people. So thank you so much for watching though, and I will see you in the next video.